Hello, howdy, and how now, brown cow? It is Monday, Monday Market 15. Rob Morales, RCO Network, here with my co-host, the bright, the beautiful, the bodacious Miss Ashley Miller Perkins.
Hello, everybody.
She's back in action.
Yes.
We had some time off last week to regroup, to think about things. And you got a dog, right? That was kind of the deal.
A dog?
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of, honestly, on a construction site that my husband, he does welding and builds gates and stuff for communities, and get a call from one of the contractors, well, actually from somebody else who got me in contact with the contractor, because I was like, I got a photo of these 4 puppies that were dumped on this construction site. Huh. So we drive out there, and little did I know that they were like tick infested, and we ended up rescuing them, saving them. They still live with us. Yeah. And we're kind of attached. So, but they're really good. They don't
I got passed up last
bark.
week for some puppies. That's all right. At least there weren't some kitties.
It's
Anyway,
but
I'm
no,
trying.
yeah.
It's
So
Monday.
I do have 4 puppies that I'm housing that not we found, but were found, and it was an option of either euthanizing them because they were so sick, or me taking them in. And the community was amazing. We were getting stuff in the mail every day from Amazon. Yeah. Like really it was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. And
so, are you adopting them or are you keeping them?
Well, I'm pretty sure we adopted them. Like they live with us. Yeah, one's really sick right now, but she'll be okay.
Well, I'm glad you're back, and we missed you last week. You know, I was crying quietly in my little room here, all by myself.
It's okay.
Needed a hug, but that's okay. So we're here to talk about the Phoenix housing market, not about puppies, but I appreciate it, and again, your efforts are remarkable. So thank you for doing that. But today is a little bit about something that you've delved into a little bit, right?
Yes.
And not just you, but the Musk himself.
Yes.
Elon Musk is. Let me put that up there real quick.
Which the craziest thing about this, and I'm so giddy over it. Like a little kid is I think it was like over a year and a half ago. I was getting my oil change in my vehicle, and I was chatting with a guy that ran the shop, and we were talking about the housing market and some stuff. And he's like, "Have you heard of boxables? I just want to move into this boxable." I'm like, never heard of that. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It's crazy. So, of course, me being me, goes and spends like 400 hours researching this shit. And they had, at this point, now it's open to public to buy shares in it. But at this point, you weren't able to buy a share. So I had to sign up to get notified when they were opening it to public. Once they opened to public, I was like, hell yeah, I'm on this. And I bought a bunch of shares, and I'm super excited. And then I knew the research I had done, I had already known that Elon Musk was interested in it. Yeah. And they just recently announced that Elon Musk is currently living one in Boca Chica, Texas.
Boca Chica?
Boca Chica, Texas. Yeah.
Well, that's where his main distribution center, or I don't know, where they build Teslas.
And he is all about energy sufficient, products, and this is probably one of the most energy sufficient, sustainable homes that you really could live in.
Well, and it's an alternative because I think so many people were dismayed by the housing market the last couple of years that they were looking just for anything. I got so many calls the last couple years intermittently between like people wanting to buy land, just because they were disappointed in the price of homes. They couldn't even get a home, and they were just again looking at other alternatives, which is like let me build something. But these these in them of themselves are already kind of made. They're kind of small.
They're 20 by 20s, 375 square feet.
Yeah,
but they're 9.5 feet tall. The windows are, they said they're roughly 8 feet. They can be delivered within, well, it says an hour. It's 2 hours. They can be delivered within 2 hours of the order, which they're approximately right now per one $49,500, and they can be unpacked in an hour, which is pretty freaking badass. I'm not gonna lie.
And before the show started, we were actually talking about different alternatives that you can use on this. So like the thing I liked, I have a client actually trying to purchase a home. We've looked in Tempe because she's mindful of investment. So we were looking at a home in particular that had a second guest room or a separated guest room. And I think a lot of people do want that or like that in regards to potential income they can make on the property. So like in non-HOA areas, you can definitely build something like this and not necessarily worry about like the HOA coming down on you. And especially like some of these older homes have larger lots than the ones like they make today.
Oh yeah.
Like the ones they make today are horribly small. Like some of them don't even have a yard. Like you share a wall with your neighbor's house. Like the house is the wall that you share.
Mr. Wilson looking over. Hey, you guys.
Well, what sucks about those is like if they have a problem with their house, they have to go through your yard in order to fix it, which is kind of odd and awkward. But that's how they're building. They're packing all these homes in such small areas now that it's kind of disappointing.
Well, I mean, as far as alternative, like this is an awesome alternative. If you have, I notice with the way the market is right now, there's more multi-generational living together. So you've got, the kids, the grandkids, and now the parents are coming in, and you're like,
well, it's unaffordable.
It's not, but if you could get financing for $50,000, which I still haven't figured out how people, if they just are paying cash, I'm sure they have a finance option for them.
For the
they have to. I mean, I haven't truly found anything that I would like to like announce and be confident in, but I believe there is a financing option for it. But I also think about, for example, a vehicle. How many people finance a $50,000 vehicle?
Quite a few actually. I mean, the way the prices are.
Well,
I was actually looking, since we're talking about Elon, I was actually looking at a Tesla. The reservation amount is only $250. Because the announced tax credits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about getting a Tesla and the opportunities for that. But regarding like these houses, the usability of them is somewhat unique and somewhat mindful of investment purposes.
It's super cool because I think if you finance $50,000, just say, similar to a vehicle, or let's even use the interest rates that we have now in our market, which are roughly, I don't know, let's just call it 6%. I know we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that later.
But let's call that $600 a month. Again, these are just, I'm throwing numbers out of my mouth. But you have this and you're going to use it as an Airbnb, or you don't have to put your mom or your dad up in a retirement home. Like, to me, that makes more sense. Yeah,
as long as they're mindful. Like, they're pretty small. I mean, you have to be somewhat of a minimalist. You can't really, the storage capacity of these things isn't really, I guess,
there's
exciting, but it's a place to live.
But what I love about it is it comes with full appliances.
Yeah.
So full.
Oh, it does come with them?
Yeah. A refrigerator, stove, kind of like you would buy, I mentioned like the Home Depot kitchen packet, or like a pre-made thing where you pay $4,000 and you get everything in one: microwave, stove, whatever the case may be. It comes with all LED lighting. It is hurricane resistant, flood resistant. It's not made out of drywall. It's not made out of 2x4s or lumber. And you are invested. Oh no, I'm like, this is like more than invested. Like, I think these are just, they're so badass, and it's not going to eliminate real estate agents because people still have to buy land. Yeah. But it is going to give certain people an opportunity to think, I want to say outside of the box, but inside of the box. Get it?
Oh boy,
I'm so funny today.
The dad joke, like, since we had our dad joke thing like a couple of years ago, we send dad jokes back to that's.
Oh, but it is a
Ashley's
great opportunity.
A dad joke person.
I mean, if sorry, I got to get my composure back together, but it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense if you have a big lot. It makes sense if families are struggling financially right now. We all are. Yeah. I mean, even finding people to build stick-built homes, stick-built meaning like 2x4s. finding the contractors, that's impossible. This doesn't take any of that. You're not going to deal with termites. You're not going to deal with any of that rigmarole.
Well, and the thing, again, I like about this is that if you have a large plot of land, you can use potentially 2 or 3 of these on your land and rent them out as like we talked about Airbnbs, talked about housing your parents if they're in a situation, there's so many different options that are flexible regarding this. And it looks like Kevin agrees with us.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
But yeah, the usability and then the potential for making money too on top of it. I don't know how much the payment would be on a $50,000 house or $60,000 unit, but I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than the rent's going on for right now.
Well, one of my son Ryder's friends, his mom and dad, they have an older son that is in his 20s, and him and his girlfriend are fiance, married. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They have a baby, and they're now living with the parents in the home. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine like having my son like in his 20s with like his significant other with a baby. I would go freaking finance one of these. Why not?
You just like the baby, the idea of being a grandma.
Oh, don't say, yes, I do. But my boys are not into that. They're so independent. They don't have girlfriends. Like Cameron's focused on the Air Force. He's like, I'm not going to fall in love before I get Air Force and be gone for 4 years. Ryder's like, hell no to girls. I'm like working out, playing sports, starting my own business. We talk.
If the girl comes around, I'm sure.
Well, Colby is girl crazy. He's the one I'm gonna have to watch out for. He's gonna make me a grandma before the other 2 older boys, which is funny. But yeah, no, he's definitely girl crazy. So I might be buying one of these, just in case.
A couple of them, a nursery and a house to live in. But as we, I like the idea of it, and if anybody wants to explore more, Ashley knows a lot about these, and just go to Messenger and
I'm excited about it.
Now back to the housing market. So looking at Redfin data, this week, some conflicting data. We get asked all the time, where the market's going, and kind of, in some insight relating to different things in here. And as you look at the new listings, the black is 2022, but year over year in new listings, we're just down. People aren't selling their house, and a lot of that is due to, I believe, the interest rates they got like 2 years ago. Yeah. I mean, why would you even think about? Because you're always thinking about upgrading your home and moving into something a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer, maybe a different area because you bought your first home and now you want to upgrade to a different one. And why not? If you bought early 2019, made $200,000 off your house, why not buy something bigger or something different? But the rates now are just nuts.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna balance out. I was chatting with a financial advisor, and I was talking about using some funds to invest in another property. Yeah. And they're like, no, just use it because I wanted to do an addition on my house.
Like a boxable?
Like a boxable. No, just like a little mini office thing off like my master bedroom. And just to kind of I work from home a lot to kind of eliminate the noise. Like the boys are on one side of the house, I'm on one, and I just wanted a little office. And they're like, it's a better investment right now to add on to your home, despite the lack of laborers that are available. So if you think it's gonna be done in a month, you can anticipate 3, 4.
There's like several at Circle K down Arizona Avenue.
Dude, this is what pisses me off. It's like, what the hell? Okay, wait, unemployment, and then we need all these laborers, but nobody wants to work, and it was just it drives me batshit crazy. Like even with my husband and I's welding company, everyone's like, oh, we need a job. And we're like, we're hiring right now, but nobody wants to show up. Oh. Literally, nobody wants to show up. They're like, oh, you're only going to pay us $30 an hour? I'm like, bro, yeah, we are.
Is that all the migrants too? They're getting more expensive too.
Not very many. Yeah, they're like $20 an hour. Not to be rude, but I picked up a couple of them one time, not too long ago, to do some work, and they're like $20 an hour. I'm like, are you shitting me? But then again, minimum wage is rising and rising and rising. I mean, you could work at Fry's for $19 and 25 cents.
Do you know Spanish?
No hablo español. I have the translator in my phone where I talk into it and then it repeats back what I said in Spanish, which sometimes is really funny. Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't say exactly what it should say.
Por favor.
No, we do that ourselves. But it is taking your money that you have right now and holding it for a down payment and waiting to get the top dollar to sell your house. Like, there's two parts of me. Take your money, sell your house, take the profit, but you're probably not going to be able to find what you want. Like, I know goddamn well that I'm not going to be able to find the house with what I have now, with an office. There's no way.
Or unless you put a box full, but
or live like in Santan Valley.
Do they have options of floor plans? I mean, if you wanted to, like, hey, I want to have, Kevin brought it up, putting one up on a construction site, but is there options to change that floor plan? Let's say you just wanted a she-den, whatever. What are they called?
She shed.
She shed, yeah. That's what I meant.
I'll look into that, Kevin. I will, because it is intriguing, because I was thinking about that actually yesterday, the day before yesterday on Saturday. And I thought about container homes, right? Container homes, you can combine a bunch of containers together and you get to kind of create your own little floor plan. With these, from my understanding, is they're pretty standard. On one side is your bedroom side, and then on the other side is your living side, and then you have your kitchen in the corner. It's very much studio-like living.
Do you know if they can be stacked too? Is it like
they can? Yes. That I do know. So that's why I'm intrigued, because the standard ones, but if you actually go on their website, they show where they are stacked on top of each other. So I'm assuming that you could buy a hollow one to like stack on top. I don't know. I mean,
we're not getting paid by Box Fuller anyway.
Yeah, no, we're not. But I'm going to assume that you can, because I see a photo of it.
Full disclosure, Ashley is invested.
But
so there is some monetary incentive for her.
I mean, at this point, like, they've already sold 50,000 of them. The United States government just recently purchased 156,000 of them. Wait, yeah, 50,000.
Yeah, something about like housing the homeless or poor or something like that. Like, no,
I didn't hear you said, huh?
Oh no, talking about the government buying some of these.
Yeah, they did, and it makes sense, because think about
impacted.
It makes sense for the government to buy these. I mean, if you think about our military, my husband's was in the Air Force. He just left after 10 years. Yeah. And they put all these guys in these, like, almost like dorm rooms, like these small little dorm rooms, and they all share one bathroom, one tiny kitchen, a little bedroom, little sinks. Like, to me, this makes a lot more economical sense and is more sustainable for places that aren't Arizona, because out here we're not dealing with snow. We're not dealing with cold weather. We actually have the best place to live, because we don't have to deal with all that stuff.
Haboobs. We got haboobs.
Yeah, but you just have to spray your house down.
It's been crazy these last couple of weeks with rain and lightning and everything else.
Effing annoying is because I redid my patio, and it's now pretty, and it has like curtains and candles and pillows, and it's like very hippie and organic. Every time a frickin' haboob, and I even downloaded the app, the weather app, so it notifies me. I got to go out there, have the boys go out there, move everything in, and then it bypasses, and I have to move everything back out. I'm like, seriously? I'm not cool. I just did my patio. I'm not interested in these haboobs.
There is a downfall to patio homes. Or whatever, the container homes.
The downfall to container homes?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a patio.
That's true.
But you can build your own patio. I mean, you can build whatever you want.
Correct. So,
but Kevin, I cannot answer that question. I have seen photos of it. I have not directly seen, I don't directly understand how they stack, if like there's little stairs, or if you have to use like some like.
You did say you can stack them. I guess Kevin, you must know a little bit about the container homes.
Yeah,
boxable.
I know you can stack them. I just don't know what the floor plan looks like.
I think if you YouTube it, you can see somebody building one. But
yeah. YouTube is your friend.
But anyway, getting back on the rates. So mortgage rates have increased, and I think what we're leaning towards, or I guess what we're trying to talk about as far as Boxable, is the affordable option. Right. And at rates looking at, for a $500,000 home, 7% isn't the best. I think you can still buy down your rate a little bit, but coming out the gate at 7%, it's not pretty, and we were looking at this like a month ago, and it was at 6. 2 months ago it was at 5. It's just, and what I want to do is highlight, when you hear about the federal funds rate, let me go to that screen. This is an example, or at least a graph from the Fred. So,
Fred,
yes.
We like Fred.
Regarding economic data, you can see that the federal funds rate here is in blue. It is not your mortgage rates. So when the federal government, talks about increasing rates, the federal fund rate, it's the exchange between banks, not the mortgage rates, but they are impacted by them. And you can see that every time there's an increase in the federal rate, mortgage rates tend to reflect that, or tend to increase, or tend to correlate with those federal fund rates. So when you hear about the federal funds rate, just know that there is an impact, and you can see it here. But with this, like the most recent one, let me pull a little bit closer. We anticipate there's going to be more of an increase in the federal funds rate, but you can see mortgage rates steep down a little bit nationally.
Yeah. Well, and one of the challenges, I heard you on a conversation when I came in earlier talking about lenders.
Correct.
And how, clients like, well, what about this lender? What about this lender? What about that lender? It's yes, it is about the specific lender. Different lenders have different products that they can provide you based upon your circumstances. It also depends on your credit score. So when you see those saying like BizRate, or there's so many things that pop up, Lending Tree. I'm going blank because there's so many of them, and they give you this rate. They're like 5.5. But it's almost like the disclaimer when you take medication. It's going to give you diarrhea, heart palpitations, and you'll probably die, but you won't be sneezing anymore.
Well, you got to be in a particular box you have to check off particular things. You have to credit score out, all to qualify for that lower rate. And really, it's just, honestly, it's clickbait from what I'm seeing.
It is, yeah.
And then you get a quote for 7%. You're like, oh, well, I clicked on this because you said it was 5. Well, no, you have to be under this certain criteria.
We have to stop believing the internet right now.
Yeah.
Like, in all of the noise that they're putting in front of us with these interest rates. And we have to stop being fearful for them. We can't control them.
Yeah.
We just have to understand them.
Yeah, and when people approach me and ask me about purchasing a home, a lot of it is like, does it make sense for you at the time? Do the rates make sense? Does the headdress make sense? Not with those headphones.
I was just moving my hat.
But no, the payment really just has to make sense for you. You still have to have a place to live at the end of the day. And does the rate, doesn't necessarily, shouldn't impact if it makes sense to you at the time. Does the payment make sense? Is the longevity there? Is it cheaper than paying for rent? Because rent still keeps going up.
Rent is super high, for sure.
So it's, again, interesting data regarding, if you go to Redfin, you can look up Phoenix housing. New listings are at a decline, which is interesting. No, I think, again, going back to our conversation earlier, I think people are pulling back and not necessarily listing their house because they had a good rate, even just 6 months ago. Why would I sell my house and be in a higher rate with still a pretty expensive market? And I'll show you that in a second. But pending sales are down and reflect to that too. Make sure. See, it clicks back to all retros. Let me go back to Phoenix. I'm getting there.
Starts with a P, not an F.
I'm getting there.
Oh my gosh, the boys and I were playing categories the other day. This is absolutely hilarious. We play categories a lot. And if you guys know categories, when you play it, like you roll the die and it tells you what letter, and then you have a timer, and it has like different things like that you have to answer, like states, presidents' names and all that. And you have to use that letter to do it. And my dumbass husband, the word ferret, and we all made fun of him. And then 2 days later, we're playing with my son Ryder, and he did the same mistake with the word ferret because they thought it started with a PH. I'm like no,
Pharaoh?
Bro. Yeah, I'm like, no, bros. It's freaking like I get Phoenix does, and I made that mistake when I was in 2nd grade. But like, I just think it's funny. I don't know. I'm just bringing it up. He's 29. Oh. He's a baby.
We won't go there. But so looking back at Phoenix housing, the new listings are down a little bit there. And in reflect to pending home sales, I mean, everybody's hearing that pending home sales are down. It's actually plateauing for Phoenix.
It is. We have a lot.
It's not going down as much as it was a couple weeks ago.
I mean,
now it's kind of plateauing. And I really think that's reflective of how many listings are coming up, and people still need to buy houses. So, and I'll show you a little bit more data in a second, but homes sold, you're looking at a decline. So the market right now is selling less, but pending sales are plateauing.
Yeah.
So these aren't closed yet. So that's really interesting. Median price, if you look at the median price, we're still high.
We're going to be. Quite frankly, and this is just my opinion, take it for what it's worth. I feel like a lot of what we say is our opinion besides the stats is Arizona it's going to continually increase. I mean, there's going to be moments where we decline, but the trajectory is going to continue to go higher and higher and higher. I mean, it's just evolution. essentially in the market. We're never going to see prices like we did before.
No, at least not year over year. But I'm going to go back to this stat.
Unless you buy boxables.
People should buy boxables. Not that Ashley has any personal stake in their trajectory of their.
I just think it's so badass.
What I wanted to look at was months of supply too. You can kind of see it's plateauing as well. You know, again, less houses are coming on market. It's kind of coming up to the, when you throw the ball up in the air and it just kind of stays there for a second before it starts falling again. This is months supply. So we're at 3.2 months supply, but you kind of see it starting that head. This is such a weird year because you can't compare it to any other year. Normally at this time of the year, we'd be seeing less inventory. Yeah. Just slightly less in reflection to, when you compare it year over year. There should be slightly less inventory, but now we have more inventory, and now it's just kind of like tapering off a bit.
We can't predict this market. This is literally probably one of the most unpredictable markets, and I've been in the real estate industry for 15. Well, Ryder he's 16, so 15, almost 16 years because he was 5 weeks old when I first started. And yes, I went back to work after 5 weeks into the real estate world. But the amount of homes we have in the market, it's insanity.
No.
Can I show it?
Do I want to show it? We're on air.
Show me mine if you show me yours.
We're on air right now, but sure, I'll show it. So looking at our active market, we have about 16,000 homes.
Now, keep in mind, this is like the valley, like Maricopa County. I mean,
I tried
Arizona in whole is probably around a little over 19,000.
I try to keep it out of see down here, and this is Pinal County basically, but try to keep it all
Nobody wants to live in Maricopa or Casa Grande.
But we're looking at about 16,000 active. There are people out there.
I know.
It's still a viable option if you want good Mexican food.
Like, can we move out to Santan Valley, Apache Junction? I go,
why?
He's like, what about Buckeye or a little bit that way so we can have a bunch of land and horses and chicken coops? And I'm going, maybe after the kids graduate high school, we still have, 8 more years, or not even. We have 6 more years left with Colby. Yeah. Sure, then. But could you see me living right now in friggin' Apache Junction raising cows and chickens? I mean, I can do it. I like it. That's how I was raised. But not right now.
Definitely not with those shoes.
You know what? I'm going to buy land.
You're kind of in between. You're like cowgirl and
spicy.
That works too, I guess.
Well, that's why I have blood on my pants because I was on a job site earlier today.
She said something weird today. She was on a job site and she saw some guy with a bloody
No, my husband had a bloody nose.
Oh, I thought it was some weird random guy.
No, he ended up showing there and he had a bloody nose, so I wiped it off. And when I'm on a job site with him, I'm used to just wiping it on my dirty jeans. And I forgot that I was dressed up today, and I wiped it on my butt. And when I came in, Robert's like, "What is on there?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "That's blood." And I'm wearing nice pants, but my mind, I forget sometimes. Am I out in the field with him? Am I what am I doing? And I made a mistake. Yeah,
you're a good mix of cowgirl by night and then classy by day.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Anytime. But our favorite chart here is our market index. So demand is significantly down. Remember when we said red demand is horrible? That means demand is significantly pulled back. Supply being in green isn't always good. It just means we have an oversupply. Right now, or I should say we have an undersupply in green and then oversupply in red. Right now we're looking at what?
Yellow.
Yellow. So when people talk about a balanced market, we talk about being balanced between buyer and seller.
Yellow.
And I think that's why. Oh shit! I think that's why we are seeing this kind of halting, almost this kind of easing a little bit in supply. But I don't know. And then I think the next couple of weeks will be definitely very interesting. I mean, we get into our winter selling season. We're actually in the middle of it now. So we have snowbirds coming in, purchasing homes between now and October because they want to be settled by the time October comes around through November, December. If anybody's ever lived here, if you're from out of town, you've never experienced an Arizona winter, it is almost like summer everywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you get maybe 3 days of being cold. You may need a little extra blanket, but that's about it. That's the nicest part about Phoenix is our winters and our spring.
Amazing, except, and no offense to snowbirds, but traffic slows down.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people driving. They're 210 in it all the way down the freeway.
Which is actually very, very bad for you because if you get in a car accident, you can break both your elbows. By the way, you should drive just like gangsta style, or down below. I don't know. At least you only have one broken arm.
I don't know. I've never driven down below.
Oh my God.
Ooh, awkward moment. But anyway, did you have anything else, Ashley? We're at the end of our show today.
No, I think our market is super exciting. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we're going to see a lot more contingencies. We're going to see a lot more drop in prices.
I've been seeing contingencies like crazy too.
Yeah. And do you think offer letter or what is it going to call?
Open door?
No.
OfferPad?
Nope. I'm not
Zillow?
talking about that. No. Stop. Give my brain a minute. So when you go to buy a house, like the love letters.
Oh, that's.
I found one of my love letters before I bought my house now, and because I was looking for a document, and I was like, "Oh, that was such a nice letter I wrote." I'm like, "Are those going to come back, love letters?"
If it's a contingency, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where we go, but I'm excited.
So yeah, I'm excited too. Thank you, Kevin. He said we're great. I would say it's more Ashley. She's great than I am.
Oh, you're lying.
I am just the beauty behind the brains here. So. So I want to thank all of you for joining us this week. So if you want to if you want to come back next week, we'll be here on Monday Market 15. Rob Morales, Ashley Miller, the great Ashley Miller, Perkins.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm so used to Miller, but whatever. It's changing. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. See you. Bye.